There we go. Good morning, everyone. It's a new day, and we are going to do some programming. I just had breakfast, and there we go. Good morning, everyone. I need to turn off the sound. Where are you coming from? There we go. I was saying, well, I just played the game for a little bit, and it hasn't broken since last night. So that's something. I also took the time to fix the follower alert, so that should be working now. Turns out Twitch changed their API a little bit. Like, it still works the same. It's just you apparently need to authenticate with the API now, which is something you needed before as well, but they weren't requiring it. I don't know. I added an API key and it seems fine. So now, in theory, you can press the follow thing on Twitch, wherever it is, and it'll go bling. This is not subscribing, by the way. I'm not a partner, so you can't give me money even if you wanted to. It's just following, so you get notified if I stream in the future. When I stream in the future, I should say. Yeah, so there's a lot of work still to be done. If I bring up Unity, you can see. This is what we did yesterday. So you're a snake, and you can snake around. And one of the last things we did was change over the controls to be, before they were like pressing up would make you go up in the world, pressing right would make you go right in the world. Now it is relative, so it's like a car. So you have an accelerator and you can turn left and right, which makes a lot of sense. I'm still not used to the new controls, but for anyone else but me, this should make perfect sense. I do want it to be a little bit faster. Like, I want the snake to it's a little bit sluggish now, but that's fixable. One of the major components to this was, first of all, just getting the head to move in a good fashion, or like getting the snake to fit together. Like, you can see it's made of a bunch of segments. I can actually break it. This will irreparably break the snake, but it's fine. We'll make a new one. So it consists of segments like this one. Like, how many is it? This particular snake is 32 segments long. Yeah. So that was one of the things, and then just making it, making the parts not slide sideways as much made a huge difference to the snake handling, which is something. And that was a little bit tricky, but we got it working. So that's where we are right now. I think I'm gonna write a little list of stuff we need to deal with. So if you give me a moment, I will... So here we are. We are going to need to spawn boats. Let's just call them boats. And the boats will have sailors on them that you can, like, you bump into the boats, the sailors fall off, you eat the sailors, something like that. The boats presumably shoot at you or something. So there'd be some kind of challenge. This is optional. You could just have it be time-based, which is kind of a kind of cheating, but it's something. I want islands or some kind of landmass that you have to relate to. Probably we'll set this in like a lake or something that will give you like an outer bound for where you can go. We will need some kind of restart functionality, which is, this is always a tedious thing, but it's better to deal with it early on than it is to try and monkey patch it in at the end. That's probably the big ones. Like, ideally, all of this is done by the end of the day today. Like, it's 8-9 in the morning, so I probably have, what, 12 hours to go, assuming I don't take any breaks, and then another 4 or 5 hours tomorrow. It's a little bit of a tall order, but I think we'll make something happen. Save this on my little desktop. I don't know, America, are you awake? I know Europe is only getting up. It's late in the US. Come on, Twitch. Here we go. Yeah, so and if you have questions or anything, just shout at me in the chat and I'll try to answer those as best as I can. I think the US is either sleeping or migrating to Canada. Entirely possible. If you're watching this later on like YouTube or something, today is, or was, yesterday, I suppose, was election day in the US. And some stuff happened. So let's try to think about boats. And before I add one more thing to the to-do list, which you can't see right now, but I'm also adding camera perspective, because what I'm thinking I'll do is Unity is in 2D mode right now, giving me this nice little viewpoint. So my thinking is that I'll take this and I'll kind of angle the camera a little bit. So you get a slight perspective effect on things. That's maybe, we'll maybe exaggerate a little bit more. Something like that. So it's still 2D effectively, but you are, it looks a little bit more interesting. Which I think could be nice. And then maybe if we have time, we might make it have some actual 3D trickery. We'll see how we make the boats. Because I do want, if I do this, I will need some kind of way to communicate what's behind and what's in front of things. But also could have a perspective camera. And that works just as well. We'll see. This really drives home the point that the, see if I can get it to zoom in. So all the segments are drawn in the same depth order, kinda. So you get this beautiful sea fighting. I don't know if it's showing up properly on the stream. You should be able to kind of see it. This little interference pattern here is because the polygons are on the exact same sea depth. So it's called sea fighting. And sea, it refers to like the depth into the scene, like third dimension, as it were. But that's also fixable, and it's something that just happens to not show up when we have it this way, out of dumb luck, basically. Or if Unity is doing some 2D trickery to help us out. Regardless, it's something we need to fix, because it's not, like the snake is not striped in a reliable pattern. I think it just happens to end up in a certain render order. Which obviously is not something we want. Yeah, boats. Create empty boat. You can't see what I'm doing right now because I need to change that. So I made a boat. Have that be at the center of everything for now. And that needs the mesh renderer and the mesh filter and probably a circle collider and a rigid body. So if I don't add the rigid body, this is what makes it dynamic. So the bounds for the level is just box colliders, and that implicitly means that they are fixed, so to speak. Like they won't, like things can collide with them, but they will not react to the collision at all. So they are solid, like they're not going to move at all. I wonder what this interpolate stuff actually does. But I know what interpolate is. Per frame update mode for the body. Oh, so it's the physics running on like a third update something. I don't particularly understand what's going on here, but we'll figure it out. So here's my little boat. We'll just try it like that. Now the boat doesn't have any graphics, so you can't really see it. We'll make a physics material for the Make it a little bit bouncy. Boing, that's maybe a little bit too much. I think some more angular drag wouldn't hurt either. This is all me making it up as I go along, per usual. I think that could work. It's a shame I didn't actually remember what I put these values to be. Something like that, maybe. That's saved. That's weird. I'm probably gonna need to make it so that the boats aren't entirely passive, because that's just strange. The mass and the radius, probably want to make this a little bit smaller, like that. That's a plausible boat for now. So I have some idea of how I want to make the graphics for this, which I think is going to involve perspective trickery. So I'm gonna start up Illustrator. And we'll draw a boat and see what we come up with. So the idea is the boat itself is a circle, or the collider will be a circle, and then we'll tilt up the camera so that from the camera's perspective, it's like 50% squashed, kinda. So that's the actual collider. And then my thinking is that I'll place a sprite standing up on top of that. That kinda intersects the size of that other circle. This will be the graphics kind of, and we'll put the collider on top, and we'll make the edge of that like super red. Can't really see that. That's fine. Cispig, yes, I am streaming again, and I will be streaming for a long time. Wow, it's really snowing here now. and it's 5 degrees, so that's not gonna last, which is both nice and kind of a pity. This collider thing is confusing. So my idea is that this will this graphic will like be standing up on the boat and maybe always facing the camera. Yeah, I remember you, says Pig. Hello, Bob Mock. Welcome to the thing. How? So the question is, I could make this a 3D mesh and probably make my life a little bit easier. But that means I basically have to make the snake 3D as well. Let's just try and okay. Let's just try and color this in and see what we get.
God morgon.
Good morning. I am visited by my colleague who just entered the door. Come on, Illustrator. That's some aggressive grouping right there. Ungroup. Ungroup. Outlines. I don't need no stinking outlines. That's a really good boat graphic if I've ever seen one. How has my day been? Says Pig is asking. Well, it's 9 in the morning, so far so good. Do I want to use vector crap for this? Yes I do. That's always awesome. Gonna add that to my little project. Here we go, importing 1 million tiny little files. And then save this. What did I name this project? I can't remember. Sea snake. Then I'm going to save this as a boat. This is going in the Sea Snake assets folder. And we jump over here. It's here. And here's our boat. Add that to the physics object. And just for kicks, we'll run it straight up. See what happens. So yeah, that needs some tuning. So the idea I had for the way this should look is to get the camera, and then rotate the camera, let's say 45 degrees, just start somewhere. And then we need to move it down to compensate. And then we kind of stand this up either at the 45-degree angle or something else, we'll see. So this makes sense for this particular rotation of everything. And it should mean that I can go behind, and now I touched it, so now it's broken. Should mean that I can go behind this and in front of it. And it will still look reasonable. But I'm gonna have to make this like graphics thing, have its position be reset all the time, so it's always facing the camera. We'll name that hull for now. And this probably only need the transform. We'll do it this way for now. And then every update we set hull transform local rotation to a... No, I don't want the local rotation. I want rotation to be see, what do we want? Minus 45 on the x-axis and then 0, 0. We'll see how this works out. That seems about right. I am in front of the boat. You can see that I'm actually, it's probably hard to see on the stream because the background and the thing are the same. But if I go in front of it, I'm actually slightly overlapping, and I can also go slightly behind so that the perspective stuff is working. That's good. I'm going to need to tweak the relative scale of things because the snake is a little bit bigger in relation to the boat than I probably want it to be. Then I guess I can also move the hull like up and down this way to make it like how deep it's floating. Which is nice. But I also need to figure out a way to have the boats show you which direction they're facing, like actually headed. So I don't know if I should put, let's just try something. This kind of works. So what I did is that I put a little box on top of the boat to represent like a I don't know what it would represent. Like a little a building or something. But I guess maybe if I put it, I think this is gonna, it's just gonna make things harder for me. Put some kind of temporary material on that cube so I can see a little bit more what's going on. This probably means that I need a light in the scene. Yeah, here we go. That's exactly what I wanted. So what I'm trying to work out right now is the ratio of these surfaces here. So I'm going to take a look at this in Photoshop to see, because the boat graphics assume that the y-axis is shortened by half as compared to the x-axis. But I think that's not quite the perspective I am going, so we'll see. We'll just stay inside of the TLS lines. It's about 2/3, 70%. I could probably actually work this out. With in a more reliable fashion with some proper math, but I'm just gonna try some stuff and see where we end up. $88.44. That's spot on. So that's a 60-degree tilt on the camera. And maybe, just maybe, this will actually look like it makes sense. So if we imagine that this is a like a little house that's attached to the boat, there's probably a proper term for that. It's a little bit too big though. So it looks like the back end of it is floating. It's not quite. I suppose I could just give up and make these actually 3D. Don't want to though. Come to think of it, I can... What happens if I do this? That's a nice point of reference. So that is the actual perspective foreshortening that I have. So this is probably just not correct then. Width, height, no. Sloppy me. If it's 175 wide, then it needs to be 87.5. Bloodcock. Hello, thanks for following. .87 pixels. That's close enough. Yes, 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 yes. So now, Unity actually updated that art asset you can see here, and now they're matching much better. Which is nice. So if we put that box back in, cube. And we make it kind of like that, maybe. Yeah, it seems like it makes sense. I am the designers of the Rimmed Capsule. That is correct. I'm happy you like it. Bonk. Boat, hot material. See if I can make these seem to be kind of the same. Oh, hooray. This is annoying. Tesh Connect, good morning. That's some cold coffee. Like okay, so that's a partial boat at least. If we switch over to this code part right here, come on, Unity, give me a second cube. Copy, paste. Do some crappy 3D. A little chimney on this. Maybe I should make that a cylinder. Oops. 3D object cylinder. Marco Bollinger. Thanks for following. And Respotting is also back in the chat. The boat hut material. Actually, let's make a second material. Can I duplicate this somehow? Cannot. Boat chimney material. Put that on the cylinder. It's a little bit big, this chimney we've got going. I'm just gonna whack this into position. Some very rudimentary 3D adventures right here. And boat chimney material, I'll just use that. And then we will take a look at the lighting window. I'll switch you over so you can see what I'm doing a little bit more. Ambient, want that to be a little bit brighter. probably not colored. We'll see. I might end up going back and making the bottom of the hull actually be a mesh, because I don't really see the benefits of having it be 2D. Right now, it's so easy to get caught up in yourself. Whee! So I want to make the boats like tough along the way they're facing to begin with, and then maybe have them kind of turn to somewhere, maybe away from you, maybe to follow you, maybe just to random positions, don't know. So we just want to get the physics body, probably. Body 2D, we call that body. Respotting, thanks for following. That's nice of you. It's not set to something. Oh, right, we need to actually set this value. That makes sense. Look at him. He's driving along. I suppose having the chimney on the rear part of the boat would make more sense. What's the name of like a small boat like this? It's like a tugboat, kind of. A tugboat would have this kind of configuration more, with like a hut at the very front, but that's not really. What's a whaling ship look like? They have sails. I don't want sails. Oh well. we'll deal with that when we get to it. So the boat is driving along pretty fast. Yeah, I think I just need to assign this random waypoints, kind of. I think that'll look fun. I also need to make the bounds of the world a little bit bigger. That's easy. Easy peasy. To put it at like, well, let's say we put it at 11. You can't really see what I'm doing now. I'm aware of that. But I'm just expanding the bounds of the world to contain us. Okay, so we will maybe we don't even need a position as such. We just need like a direction the boat wants to be facing. And then it's trying to turn and face that direction for a while. And then we have a public flow that is turn frequency. It's going to be in seconds, so say every 2 seconds we'll have a new one, and then we will have a float time to turn that starts at turn, or starts at 0. So time to turn will be decreased by time fixed delta time. If time to turn is smaller than or equal to 0, we will hey. What's wrong with this? We just randomly pick a direction. That's just beautiful. I managed to get those dots on the eye. That's why I was acting weird. This is not the way it's supposed to be. And then we need to work out which way is the way we need to turn ourselves to face the way we want to be facing. which is always an interesting affair. There's a bunch of utility functions to do this for vectors. Well, one day we'll get into that. So we need to find the current rotation that we have. Which is going to be transform rotation Euler angles, and then that is around the z-axis, I think. I don't know if Unity wraps the rotation. Maybe. Look, there's a lerp angle. Beautiful. And we'll just make that like 0.2 or something. Or actually, let's make it turn power. And then we will do transform rotation. No, we don't. We do a body add torque. That's going to be angle. This is all a little bit arbitrary at the moment. Right, so I don't even need, I just need a difference between these two. This is probably going to break in all kinds of ways, so that'll be fun. It's spinning pretty fast. Yeah, obviously that's not working. What's the user interface going to be like? No idea. Haven't gotten that far yet. So it gets the angle that we are at the moment, and then we have the target angle. And basically, here we go. That's exactly what I was looking for. Wonder. And then we clamp that between -1 and 1 just to make sure that things don't get crazy. And then we multiply that by the turn power. That makes more sense. Best AI I have ever made. Let's put a little debug thing on it so we can is there an easy way to get a vector to okay. Time to turn frequency. Put this at like 200. Oh, right. I don't want that particular. I want both of these, though, I guess. And I also want the turn target angle. That's what I thought I was doing before. I don't really understand why this value is acting up so much. I don't know if the turn, if this is like or radians or something. Unity, transform, rotation. I'm a little bit confused right now. So the pink one is fine. And you can kind of see the green line that is the oh, maybe I should be setting it on the transform of the rigid body. Maybe that is a better idea, because I'm not entirely sure that correctly feeds back into read the documentation. I get it. So that is correct. It's just this calculation. Rad dig to rad. I just need to multiply these to get it. So that the actual calculations were correct. It's just the visualization was wrong. And I suppose this needs to be flipped around. Would you look at that? It's beautiful. Let's add a couple more boats. I think I'm gonna have to add the water pretty soon, just to get a feel for how this is gonna work. I think the boats are a little bit too slidey as well. Like when you bump into them, there's not much of an impact. They just follow along with you, kinda. Now, I also think I need to do something about the turning radius. This here snake. But I like this. This is good progress. At some point I had a version control system going. Oh, I should have added the SVG importer separately. Boats. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to add several more boats. Then I'm going to go get some coffee. While you watch these boats wreak havoc